So I want to ask, who is your favorite black superhero? We'll do Marvel and then we'll do DC.
That's a little bit of a hard question, but if I had to say DC, it's obviously going to be Static Shock.
Oh, yeah, Static Shock is
Um,
just awesome. I have to agree with you on that one.
Literally top shelf superhero for multiple reasons, and I might actually get to one before the podcast is done, maybe. Marvel, honestly, that's also pretty hard. Um, hmm, Maybe like if we're just going like black superhero period,
Hmm.
I'd say it's a toss up between maybe Black Panther or Storm from the X Men. Like
Both
I'd say a
amazing
toss up.
characters.
Both amazing characters that often are couples, and that's pretty good for them. Like
And
they have similar backgrounds and like pretty powerful individuals in their own right.
and both are dangerous without their powers too. Like because both have had times where they didn't have either their super strength, speed, whatever. And then Storm, she was able to beat Cyclops in a duel without her when she lost her abilities for a while. She's an Omega level mutant. She is insanely powerful. Um,
Hmm.
but I agree with you on the Static Shock. Like he's just like even as a kid, he's insanely good enough that Batman pays attention. And then you see like what he's supposed to be like, and they did that crossover with Batman Beyond, where you see his adult version, and you're like, oh, that's who he becomes. Damn. Um, but for Marvel, I have to say, like originally I would have said Black Panther or Storm as well, or Luke Cage, because Luke Cage has got some of my favorite moments. I actually have to go with Miles Morales now.
I would have got like I like Miles Morales, but honestly, his best interpretation in my eyes comes from the movie that they did Into the Spider Verse.
Yeah,
I
and
feel
that
like
was great.
that's the peak of where I see his character, like better represented than what I've seen in the comics. No shade to the comics, because that's the only reason he even exists. Um, but no, it's like if I had to pick one from DC, it's gonna be Static Shock because he's the best. He's the best thing up. But no, it's like if I had to explain for a minute, if I can have the floor,
Go for it.
um, Static Shock combines two elements that both kind of stands with DC in my eyes, because people like to say Marvel's all sunshines and DC is just all dark and gloom and stuff like that. But honestly, I kind of see it as like DC can tell much more mature and real stories sometimes, and Marvel can play up with fantasy elements and allow you to enjoy yourself just because it's like it's not taking itself too seriously, like enjoying the moment. And with that, I feel like not Miles Morales, but Static Shock can balance elements of like Spider-Man like lividness, where it's like it's fun to be a superhero with like dark reality of like, well, there's drugs, gang violence, people die, like in his not only his comics but even in the show itself, which is where most of his fans come from. Characters did die. There were,
I'm
but
smiling,
he's
laughing because of like the first time he tried to take a shower after his powers turned on,
yeah, like almost died there, but it's fine. He got over it. He was able to fix that.
shorted
Uh,
himself out. It was hilarious.
But no, it's like the threat is real in his universe, and a lot of elements that are shared within the comics can be compared easily to real life events and moments in life where it can like you don't have to be black to understand his story and what goes on in his life, which is something that I feel like I feel like it's hard to write in a lot
Especially
of
if you haven't
stories
lived that life. Like
nowadays.
for me to write it, it would be damn near impossible. I would have to rely on somebody else's experience.
Like literally, Miles Morales, though I love his character and stuff like that, and but I feel like a lot of his elements are written from a perspective that doesn't fully understand it because his creator is not of the culture he's writing of both cultures that he's writing about with his
Yeah,
character, and sometimes even forgets one or another. And if I really wanted to like put that on the stand,
well, go for it.
and something about Sex Shock where it's like Black Panther was a really good movie, and I think his comic series is awesome. But to get back to the movie, his movie is great, but I mean, if someone fucks up the Static Shock movie,
This
I
is
will
gonna be a riot.
protest. I will literally protest. I don't protest like really often, but I will literally like I'll fucking sit outside. I'll go to Hollywood. I'll sit outside. It's like, how could you fuck up so bad?
That